Welcome back. My name's Jen and I like to grow a lot of things in a small space. I'm located in a zone 7 and these are the seeds I'm getting started in late May. I'm gonna sow a few perennials here. I got some butterfly weed, bachelor button I know isn't a perennial but we're putting it with that category, and then sweet williams. We're also gonna talk about aster. We're gonna go over some zinnias, which are my favorite. We're gonna go over how I use cosmos in my garden. And then these two vining flowers on my trellis. Then for vegetables, we're going to talk about a few root crops that I like to plant and how I plant those. And then some summer lettuces. I did a short about how to pick the right lettuces for summer. I already have some growing from the spring, but summer ones are different. We're going to do some more fennel seeds. We're going to look at some fall things like celery, and then some more leafy greens like Swiss chard. Here we go. Alright, we're going to start off with some celery. I know it seems like it's too late to plant celery, but really for this one I'm thinking about the fall. Celery takes a long time to mature. And I already have a crop of it in that I've had in since about mid-March, and that one I'm starting to harvest from. But then throughout midsummer, it should kind of hit its peak and maybe peter out. I'm going to see if I can keep continuing to grow it after that, but I'd like to have a set to start that'll be ready to harvest in the fall as well. Next up is the Swiss chard that I'm putting in. That I do also have a crop going already, but it got hit by pests, so I'm starting a new one. It's never too late to start it. I've started stuff as late as like mid-June and it's been fine. Then here, I just wanted to show you my cute coffee cup. It's kind of earthy, kind of planty, and I just thought it was fun. Okay, moving on to the lettuces. I went over in a short how to tell which lettuce is going to do well for you in the summer. And lettuce really does like cool seasons. It likes early spring, it likes late fall, but there are a few that you can get that will work out in the summer heat. And this is pretty simple to pick out. Usually the seed packet will specifically say if it's heat tolerant. Sometimes things that say frost tolerant are also a resilient plant that will do okay in the heat, but really I'm looking for ones that say heat tolerant on the seed pack. And these seeds are small. I'm putting about maybe 3 or 4 in each little cell here. If I need to, I'll separate them out later. Now for the root crops, typically what I do is I'll go out in my garden bed and direct sow these. And I like to put them in between things when I have some empty spaces that need filled. I'm growing in a small space, so I don't actually like a lot of open dirt. So if I can cover something or plant something small in between things, I will. But for some reason here, I thought it would be a good idea to put a few in a seed tray. And then hopefully as stuff comes out in like July, then I'll have these ready to put in, and then I'll be about a month ahead of what I would have been direct sowing them. Although I know myself and I'm pretty sure if I see a hole or an empty spot in my garden, I'm probably going to go out there and direct sow some radishes anyways, but I wanted to try this anyways and I'm sure I'll find somewhere to plant them. Here's this round of seeds. Next up, we're going to get into the flowers. In general, it is sort of late to start most flower seeds for zone 7. Most of them should have been started like anywhere between January and March. But what I'm looking for is some quick growers, some stuff to fill in the gaps, and then some perennials that I want to get started now so they can grow and then they'll set flowers next year. Here I'm going to plant some morning glory seeds and some black-eyed Susan vines. Typically, I do not like morning glories. There, I said it, it's out there. But I do like when their foliage grows up over the front side of my trellis, and then I have vining vegetables in the back, like squashes and things. So I like that the flowers give a little bit different color than just the typical like yellow squash flower. I am very particular about trying to get them before the seed pods fall because I have spent a few years trying to clean up morning glories that I just let go. Now here I'm showing you part of my organization for my seeds. This is actually, I think, a photo organizer I got at Joann Fabric. And what I do is I put the seed packets in the little containers, and then I have the containers organized by different types. Like that was cold flowers that need cold stratification. Here I have some of my vining flowers and other things, but each little pocket in this container has a label and it all has a place. Now I'm going to plant some zinnias. I did direct sow some zinnias outside already, but I like to have some ready, especially if there's vegetables that come out and then I have a hole in my garden, or if something didn't quite take and there's a bare spot. I like to have the zinnias to go in between things. And here, if you take a look at the back of the seed packet, it will have the height of the flower on it. This is how I divide up my seed packets to store them in the little containers. I divided it by height because it's too many seed packets to put all the flowers in one container. So then I split them up by height. That way I could divide them out and make them easier to fit. Next up here, I have Cosmos. I love them for their wispy, airy, whimsical feel. I did start some already by seed outside, but I'm starting another round, and that's the same reason as the zinnias. I just want to have some on hand to plop into spots that look a little bare and aren't filled in all the way. Now, Cosmos seeds are long and skinny and they require light to germinate. So for those ones, I just kind of put them on the surface of the soil and push them in. Here you can see me doing that. I just kind of drop them on the soil and push them in. You don't have to go crazy. They just need contact with the soil and some moisture and they will do fine. I'm going to do the exact same thing with these orange ones or these sunset colored ones. So we're just going to speed through this part. Then you're going to see me checking the back of the seed packet here. I'm checking the heights and then I'm going to put them in the container with their appropriate height flowers. I'll zoom you in here and you can see the seeds sticking out of the soil. That's what you want it to look like. Then I stick a label in it and I'll let nature do its work. Also, if you see the little green things in the soil, those are just leaves. I had this sitting outside while I was prepping everything and some leaves fell in it, but I don't really mind because I'm going to plant it in the ground anyways. Now I'm going to move on to some perennials. I'm sowing some butterfly weed here. A friend actually bought me an actual plant of one, but it didn't survive the transplanting. I'm not really sure what happened there, but I told her no worries, I'll start us some from seed and we'll retry it again. I actually think now is a good time to start perennials because usually they take about a year to bloom anyways. So if you do them now, they'll grow and they'll get some nice green growth and they'll grow their root system. Then they'll kind of die back in the fall and winter like they would anyways. And then the second year when they start growing, they'll be a lot more vigorous because their roots are already established and they should bloom for you the second summer. I did this with some foxglove, columbine, and sweet williams last year. And then this year they exploded with growth and they're all blooming. They're huge. The foxglove is like 5 feet tall. It's amazing. So I'm hoping by doing this now, I'll be able to get great blooms next year. And the way I'm going to do this is the butterfly weed, I actually planted a few in those little seed trays because I want to baby those and make sure that I get some. The rest of them, I'm just mixing together in a medicine cup here. I'm going to take it outside and I'm going to put some on the left side here and some on the right side. I'm going more for this right side behind the foxglove because that's my butterfly garden and I'd like to get some more butterflies attracted to this area. I already have the foxglove, some swamp milkweed, gladolias, and some zinnia seeds planted in this area. And I would like to keep most of the milkweeds and butterfly weeds and things like that on this side. So I'm just going to grab a pinch and spread it around. Just going to toss it out there and then I'll water it in and I'll let nature do its thing. Hopefully whatever wants to grow will grow and flourish and do well. And if not, I have the little backup baby butterfly weeds in the seed trays that I can put there later if I need to. I'm just going to have my little helper here water it in. Then she's going to grab some dirt for me and we got one more thing to plant. Here are some aster seeds. I already have one aster growing in my garden right now, but I know there's multiple kinds. So I wanted to try this one here and see. It's an annual. I wanted to see if I could get it growing and get some blooms out of it this year. I hope so. I know some asters are perennials, so maybe I'll be able to overwinter this one. I'm not sure, but I'm going to test it out and see. All right, now I'm going to speed through getting everything put away, putting it in its appropriate height containers, and then we're going to jump outside and take a look. All right, this is a little table I have outside beside my greenhouse. I'm going to leave them here until they grow a little bit and then we'll put them in somewhere. Then lastly, I want to plant some of this fennel. I had one planted, it was doing so good, and then something came through here and ate it. So I've been trying to grow some more because my son was growing that one and I don't want to tell him something ate it. So I'm going to come out here and I already had some growing, but stuff must really like fennel because something dug in this too. So I'm going to replant some of the fennel and then that's about it for the day. I'm going to speed through this part and then I'll show you the empty packets I want to reorder. I just tuck them in between here and that way it reminds me, hey, these are empty. All right, thank you for watching. Have a great day.